So what you're about to watch is the notebooks that I'm using this year. And what I'm really using is this one. This is a, I forgot again. This is a Rhoda reverse book, square. You can use it either way. And I'll talk about this again, but this is a Leuchtturm 1917 Bauhaus edition. They look cool partway through 2019, and I grabbed two of every one. So I've got a stack of them over there on the shelf, which you can't see from this angle. So I have a few years of notebooks ready. Let's dive in. You can see what I'm doing with my notebooks for 2020. So this is my new notebook, the new thing I really needed for this year. Before I had a 6 foot by 3 foot calendar from New Year up there on my big wall, but now I went down to this. And I went down to this because I didn't want my wall taken up, and I really didn't want, I really did need to see like a couple days in the future. So I want to be able to look at a calendar and say, oh, you know, the 20th is a Monday, or what's the next Monday, and look at that. And I marked off some other things on here. You can see I have weeks highlighted right there. And I used some just general markers for that, some oil-based markers or some alcohol-based markers like, what are they called? They're from Shinhan Art. I forget what they're called right now though, the Touch Quick or something like that. I want to say Touch Type, but that's an iPad case. All right, I highlighted that. I have a legend down here. So that's a birthday for Lorelai and Mark. Lorelai being my daughter, Mark being my brother-in-law. And I have dates I've already published videos for. So it is currently the 14th, but I had the 6th and the 8th. The 13th and 15th is already done. The 20th and 22nd is already done. This one will come out on the 29th. And then I already have recorded so the blue is a bad color. Whenever this day is the 27th, which is my daughter's birthday. And then I have one that'll come out on the 31st as well. Right, and I highlighted, say, my birthday, and then I have green for my Rob and Pat, so that's my in-laws are coming out, and then orange for Silver Star. You can see my little legend down here as well, right here where it says YT upload, and so that's when I have a YouTube upload ready. So this is one of the things that I wanted, and you can also see that I have my focus. So my focus for my own personal work is the freelance rules book, and then my clients, I have two. I have Pubs and then a client, Ronald, and those have been pretty consistent clients for a long time, for like a year. I don't have a focus here yet, and I don't have my clients here for February. It is likely going to be exactly what this is. The freelance rules book, which is not done, and the clients, the Pubs and Ronald, because they've been my clients for a long time. And I don't see that that's going to change at all in the future, at all for the next number of months anyways. So that's what I'll do. And what I'll do actually is when February comes along, my plan is to flip over. This is only my first month. You can see I actually have some bleed through here as well. So I'll do using a blot page here. And this notebook, because I know somebody's going to care, is it's like the reverse notebook from Rhoda. The reverse notebook from Rhoda. So it's square. I could go this way or this way, but I went this way. So did I just flip the whole thing over backwards? Lost my page. What was that? Oh, that was a test mark. So I'm at the back of the book now. So my plan is, though, for this is I'm going to flip it over. And then afterwards, I'm going to write down, like back here, what January did, how it did. I'm not sure that I'm going to use these markers again from Shinhan on this type of paper just because of the bleed through. And I don't like that. I'll probably just use some basic highlighters, or I have some other Staedtler really thin markers that I've used before. But the plan is to write down how January went, and then this page in theory, although I'll probably just rip this one out because these are all perforated. But this page in theory, I would write February and March, and I do my my thing again. So I don't think I have two bleed through pages. No, not two bleed through pages. So I can just rip this one out and keep that as a blotter page. And then I would just start working on this one here for it. And I would write February and March. And again, write my focus and write my other things. So that's my first, that's the notebook that I have. It's currently off to the side of my desk all the time so that I can see what's happening. I'd like to mount it on the wall, but I haven't figured out a good way to do that. And I will likely build myself a mount of some fashion. So my main notebook that I use every day is actually this. This is a Leuchtturm 1917 book. It's a Bauhaus book. I got a stack of them when they were on sale. It's yellow with a dot, and it's got black page edges, and then the dots inside are black as well. And some of the other ones, the blue one has red dots, and I got actually all of them because I wanted all of them. So I got all of them. And this, compared to the official Bujo ones, the bullet journal ones, this only has two whatever, markers, whatever you call these things. I'm sure there's a specific name. And then, yeah, they only have 2, whereas the Bujo ones have 3. That is less than optimal, but I can live with it. Now, what I've done with this one, this is, again, just a standard start to my year bullet journal. I've got, I'll show you my index. I've got my future log, some gear that I want on page 13. This is like outdoor gear because I'm a big outdoor person. Home projects, business ideas, books that I want on page 18. It's almost full already. It's a double spread. I can't read that now. January video. Okay, January video. So this is where I start my month. January video. All right, so these are the videos that I wanted to do. January 27th, stabilize. I don't have that one ready. That's the guys. I got to do that one too sometime today. But stabilize notebooks. I'm recording this now. I already did the Power Beats Pro and then my January income. That'll come in on February 5th. And let me know what I have to do for just for the year, right? And so this was an idea. So if I was working on videos and had ideas right here, then I would write my ideas. But that's actually become this one. So this one will get X'd off. And for those that are going to care, because I know someone is going to, this is a Lamy Safari, just a basic black with a fine tip. I'm left-handed, and I'm using some ink in it, carbon ink on it, so that it doesn't bleed. I found with a wet hand, without like a sweaty hand, I would blot this side with my own hand. So I still need to do my stabilized video for January 27th, or I just recorded 3, so I might just swap that one in for this, do the Power Beats here and flip those 2. Because I've already done it. And so January. So my January starts, and I've got my coffee with someone, check my 2019 B1. So when I index my journals, this is 2020 B1. If I have a second one, it's 2020 B2. Same with my reading journals. It's 2019 R1 and 2020 R1. Although I had very rarely hadn't used much of my 2019 R2. So it's just going to be 2019 R2, and then 28 pages in it switches to 2020 R1. And then just a date, a board meeting, and kid stuff, just to make sure organized board meeting and taking care of my children. And then I did some reflection on my stuff. This is kind of over, I'm kind of half covering it because it's not necessarily something I wanted to share a ton of, but this is my reflection on how the year went, and it was tough. That's what I'll say. I didn't have enough margin, didn't have the margin that I wanted. And then we flip in. This was just, some other stuff as I got things going. Some tasks, some other stuff like that. And this is pretty much what I still do. I've done this, I've done a previous video on my weekly spread and how I do plan every week. And I wrote a book called Analog Productivity as well that details exactly how I do this. And I do pretty much the same thing. I start out by drawing out my lines, right, to divide up my days. I start out with my green or my blue stuff, right? So my green for my runs. That's what I start out with. And then I put in so this is skating. These are times when I can't work. And on these nights, I actually we have a daycare person come for 2 hours, so I can still work those nights. And then I start writing out here's all the tasks I have. Right, here's the videos I wanted to do. April not here next Monday. So this was a planning note for when I went back and did my next week. I knew I would look back. I always do this. I always look back and see where I'm at for the week, and then I write in just whatever else I'm doing, just the general. I'm going to read. I'm going to do the Initech review, which comes out on the 15th. Actually, it's the 14th as I record this. And iPad West Bugs. My runs, my group run. My wife runs that morning, so I don't work early. And that's what I do. I'm going to work on the freelance rules. And the question mark for run, whether I was going to, or basically that question mark was, how is it going to work this week? And I ran in the afternoon. My wife ran early. My wife coached skating in the middle of the day. And I go into my regular week, which is, I do kind of the same thing I've always done, bullet journal. And then I do some journaling in the middle. All right here, as I did the Initech one, I made some notes about B-roll, what I wanted. So, and this page in January was my monthly expenses. This is my burn rate for stuff. So the big things that I couldn't really cut that I actually dropped out. You can see this Post-it note here. It was $447 originally. It's actually $506 because I found a couple things I missed. But my cell phone and internet I can't really do anything about, so that drops $200 immediately to $242, and I cut out some other things here. This is all the Canadian conversion prices plus $1 or $2 because I'd rather estimate slightly high. And I still have some more ideas about things I'm going to cut here, but I just wanted to get a handle on how much I was spending, and $442 really, but $242 of more discretionary spending is a lot. So I cut some of that, and I probably will cut more. And then more notes, right? I was working, I wrote some questions around how to import stuff. So some questions for a client. And then I had a meeting, and I did some notes on what their site's going to look like. And again, just more task list. And here's the next week. So again, this is what I do. This is this week right now, right? I'm recording on the 14th, so today. So notebook video, Power Bridge video, Power Beats video, and book review video. And then I just have my week planned out. I don't have anything in the morning here because I actually didn't do this till Monday. Usually I would do it Fridays, but I didn't do it till Monday this time. I know that Lorelei Library is all good, right? Paperlike 2 replacement because I have a Paperlike on my iPad and it came bent on the one corner. So I've reached out to them and they say they'll replace it. That's just what their form letter says. So I expect that to come back. And then usually my person would come Mondays to watch the kids, but it was actually a snow day and they had an appointment anyways. So they went to Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'll work tonight late till 5 o'clock instead of 3. And then just like the other notes, right? I got to take kids to skating, but at 5 o'clock, I need to go over to the running store to hand in some forms and some stuff like that. So I know that I'll get a kid on the ice and then I'll run over to the running store and I'll come back and stay at the skating till late because I have a third kid who skates. And then I'll do the library with my daughter on Friday and then I'll do Patreon and my rules book. And it just goes back into my normal stuff, right? Another thing that I was interested in this week was BookTube. And I just wrote out some ideas. And so that ideas for videos I could do and what was formative to me, right? So The Wrinkle in Time was a formative book for me. But you can see that again reflected in my BookTube ideas, right? Page 38. Page 38, BookTube ideas. And then I just keep going, really. All right, here's today. Today is Ronald, did that already. Read, that's what I was supposed to be doing now, but I have a sick kid at home, so I'm recording now, and my wife has to leave in about 10 minutes, and so then I can read while videos are transferring and while she is doing her thing later. And then notebook video, Power Beats video, late bloomers video, and then prov. So it's if I have time to get to this, which I probably will today. I want to respond to a Patreon comment as well. I printed the forms already, need to sign these forms for the running club, and I need to tell somebody about an email that they have to deal with and order extra Yakima keys for my roof rack. And that's really how I'm using my bullet journal notebook. Yeah, if I have to refer, I think if you go back to my books page, my books is 18. I do books a lot. So another thing that I do here is that book. So I did not transfer every book that I had in 2019 because I get too many books. Like we're on January 14th. These are the books. This is January 14th. So anyway, or since the beginning of January. So I'm not going to transfer all of these, but, and if you went to 2019 B2 page 25, then you'd also see that it has a reference like 2019 B1 page, I don't know whatever page. So that way I can refer back like, oh, there's this book, I heard about it. What was it again? And I can usually go back and see. And this one I actually have, some of them will have a BM notation beside them. I'm not going to write it here. So that means I've put it in my hold list at the Bookman, which is our local used bookstore, and they will let me know when it comes out. Now, or if they get a copy of it. So I keep these written down a lot too, because my wife will grab them sometimes and buy me a book. So my birthday's coming up, and I'm kind of on book moratorium right now because I've also got 62 books I haven't read that I own as well. But that way she can just go look through my list, and she knows how these notations work, so she could look back at some old ones and just see if there's books that would be interesting that she would like to get me, or that, say, my in-laws would like to get me. And that's really how I do my notebooks this year. The biggest addition has been this one, which I explained to you. Right, has been this one here, where I now have a easy reference calendar with my focus for the month and my clients for the month, and that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll write a reflection on how I think the month went. The biggest issue was the shin hand markers bleed through. Other than that, it was really easy, and this is a, well, hard to see maybe, but this is a, like, find a better, finer tip thing. So this is, right, 1, 2, 3 blocks. So it's like 3 blocks wide by 3 blocks tall. Calendars, and I actually sketched this out on a couple other sheets and then just put them away or rip them out because I didn't want to use them. So I'll switch out the shin hand markers and go to some highlighters just so we don't have the bleed through. And the shin hand markers I'm happy to keep around for other art reasons because I do like to draw when I can. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, you can make sure you don't miss any by subscribing below. Make sure you hit that little bell icon so you get notifications if you like notifications. Although I gotta be honest, I hate them. If you'd like to support the channel, like to make sure that the videos keep coming, that the content keeps coming, you can support me on patreon.com/Curtis McHale. Have an awesome day.